Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with some MyClub divisions, of course, because as you'd expect, it's really the only thing I really do in MyClub is to play division matches, because I can't be bothered playing in competitions. But as you see there, we've got 12 points from 5 games so far, and we only have 5 more games left in this division, but we only need 2 more points to get promoted to Division 6, which would just be absolutely fantastic to get into the top 6 divisions before PES 20. Basically, I want to get into the top 3 divisions. I think is going to be what I'm going to aim for. Once I get in Division 3, I think I'll probably just stop playing the game in general, because there's no point trying to get into the top one division, into the top division, because who has the time for that? So in today's episode, I have 2 matches for you. The first match is a most ridiculous game where I probably didn't really deserve to get beat, and the second match is just a fun game of me scoring loads of goals. So eventually, as you see here, look at his team, and he has the likes of Jackson Martinez up front, Willian in midfield with the likes of Nemanja Matic, Sean, as well as Debussy, and he's got Claudio Bravo in goals. So he's got a pretty decent squad, but it wasn't really a squad I was expecting to have any trouble against. But for some ridiculous reason, Willian is just so goddamn good in this game. Like, he's pretty good in real life, I'm not going to go against that, but for some reason he was just really good in this EDSENL's hands. He was just ridiculously good with this guy. So eventually he kicked off, and it took absolutely ages for him to kick off, but he did kick off eventually. And when he kicked off, literally, he wasn't in control of the game, so I decided to try and take advantage, but I was like, nah, I won't do that, because it's just retarded. But in the 9th minute of the match, he gets a shot away with Lass, and it's a pretty good goal. I remember I had Lass, and Lass was pretty good for me, but wasn't as good for me as that guy was, with him scoring a pretty good goal like that. But in the 33rd minute of the match here, all the way up to the 33rd minute of the match, with nothing else happening, Daniel Sturridge runs down his left-hand side, runs past 2 or 3 players, and I pass it back to Marquisio, because he tried the same thing with me about 2 or 3 minutes beforehand, and I was fortunate that it basically came off and Marquisio popped in the back of the net. And as we see here, in the, basically from the end of the first half, he tried a long through ball through to Jackson Martinez. It came to nothing, and it was 1-1 at half time. So it was a pretty good game, and it was a pretty close game as well, as we see here from the stats. Only 5 shots in the game, 3 of which were on target. But as we see in the 46th minute of the match here, he plays the ball onto Willian. Willian tries to run past Javi Martinez, doesn't get anywhere, and Iturbi gets the ball. I play a really nice through ball through to Marquisio, and he was expecting me to sweat across Januzaj. Didn't sweat across Januzaj, and Marquisio pops in back of the net to basically make it 2-1 with his left foot. It's a really nice finesse shot. As we see in the 51st minute of the match here, some ridiculous pass from Neven Subotic, who tries to play some, I don't know what he was even trying to do, and basically makes it 2-2. And in the 54th minute of the match, I get an opportunity with Daniel Sturridge. Doesn't come to anything. He plays one through ball through to Willian. Willian through on goal, and Willian just takes the opportunity and pops him back in the net to make it 3-2 to him. And then in the 57th minute, again, he gets another opportunity with Willian down the right-hand side, runs past 2 of my players. Again, Neven Subotic comes, well, it isn't Neven Subotic actually, Martinez comes back, does a pretty decent job of defending. I play it into Jack Cork, and Jack Cork can't get away from Jackson Martinez. He plays it into Martinez, and Martinez again tries to play another through ball through, which doesn't really come to anything. As we see here in his 59th minute of the match, he tries to foul him, he doesn't get anywhere, gives it into Daniel Sturridge. Sturridge runs away from his centre-back, actually comes back to and Marquisio just pings it just wide of the post, which unfortunately for me was basically where it all went wrong. As we see in the 63rd minute of the match here, last on the ball, plays a really nice through ball actually straight through to Jackson Martinez. And Martinez pops him back in the net to make it 4-2 to him, and then coming into the last minutes of the match, Neven Subotic steals the ball off of I think it was someone like Lass, and basically gets the ball opportunity with Daniel Sturridge, and Sturridge pops him back in the net to make it 4-3 with literally about 4 or 5 minutes remaining in the match. And in literally I don't get another opportunity in the last minutes of the match, as he just continued to dominate down this right hand side against my quite poorly rated left back in Burnett. So I stopped playing Arcuvio, because Arcuvio kept going far forward way too quickly, and Burnett actually sits back a little bit more, which I like a bit more about him. But as you see there, he sort of did deserve to win the match with 10 shots, 5 on target. I had 7 shots, 5 on target, but still with a ranking of 602 for me is pretty decent. He had a ranking of 456, and I'm sure I actually messaged him after this match saying like, good game, was actually a really fun game to play in. And he messaged back saying like, yeah, like GG and all that sort of stuff. So it was quite fun to basically get some stuff like that. So as we see here into this last match of this episode, and last match of Division 7, because I'm going to win this one, we faced against a guy who's of course is also in Division 7, so it's always good to face off against people in the same division as you. But in this match, we just go out of our way to go and score some really good goals against Ciejo 100. And really weirdly enough, whenever I listen to other people saying they listen to this sort of music when they play games, I listened to, ridiculously enough, Psychosocial by Slipknot as I played this game against this guy who had Alvaro Morata up front and Bernard in midfield. That's not right, but whatever. He had a pretty decent squad of likes of Szczesny at the back, and he had a pretty good squad in general of Barcelona as his base team. And I was listening to Psychosocial of all random songs to listen to, and it really actually pumped me up when I scored the goals, as both the goals I scored were in the first bit before like he goes mental, and it was just interesting basically for me to score goals against someone who basically, when I'm listening to like the craziest music in the world, as we see in the first minutes of the match, Marquinhos on the ball, steals it off a player, doesn't really get an opportunity to get a shot away. But about 10 minutes later, Daniel Sturridge on the ball, waits for the opportunity, doesn't get a shot away this time either. He runs past two players, gets control, tries to get a shot away, doesn't come to anything. Iturbi steals the ball back, he gets an opportunity, and he pops him back in the net off the post, and it's a pretty good goal. And in the 15th minute of the match here, Daniel Sturridge runs past one defender, runs past a second defender, runs past the same defender before, and pops in back to the net with his right foot to make it 2-0 within the first 20 minutes of the match. It was a pretty good result. But then in the 20th minute of the match, with Sergio Romero down his right hand side, he does a really early cross in. And for some reason, Neven Subotic heads it away from Ter Stegen. It was pretty decent defending, but Ter Stegen goes flying to the floor like some crazy guy. And with that, basically, he scores a goal. It's with a pretty decent goal actually, with his with his left wing forward. But in the 37th minute of the match, he gives the ball straight back to Iturbi. Iturbi gives it into Daniel Sturridge. Sturridge runs past 2 or 3 players again and pops in the back of the net to make it 3-1 to me. And then in the 45th minute of the match, Iturbi for an opportunity, gets a strike away from about 25 yards out, goes just wide of the post, and then the halftime result was 3-1, and the stats sort of show that I was dominating the hell out of them with 6 shots, 4 on target. And in the 52nd minute of the match, from a corner kick with Januzaj, Jack Cork tries to head it down. He does actually head it down to someone, but doesn't come to anything eventually until Szczesny grabs the ball, which he then hits out straight to one of his defenders and put him under more pressure with Burnett, who's my left back. And then, as you see there, Iturbi went flying off a slide tackle and actually got a yellow card for that. But in the 61st minute of the match, I knew that he had Luis Suarez on the bench, big Luis Suarez, the former Liverpool player. And so I knew that I had to score another goal to make it 4-1, which I did do. And as we see here in the 78th minute of the match, he brought on Gorkuf as well, tries to run past 2 or 3 of my players, doesn't really come to anything, eventually playing it into Gudmundsson, who then ends up hitting it off the post with a pretty decent strike actually. I'm sure he was the one who scored the first goal his first goal, and then again he tried to get another opportunity to try and build up again. But in this 87th minute of the match, Daniel Sturridge runs past about 3 or 4 of his players before again getting another opportunity to pop in the back of the net for his hat-trick, which he does do there. And then in the last minutes of the match, as you see here, he has the ball with Gorkuf again, plays it into Luis Suarez. Suarez tries to run past 2 or 3 of my players, do pretty decent defending with Ogbonna, because I knew that basically the game was finished. As we finished the game here, 5-1 as the final score, and we're into Division 6, so that's pretty good. We're 3 divisions away from basically stopping this series in general, which will be interesting to see. Like, if I get into Division 3 really quickly, then I'll probably try and get Division 2 or Division 1, but I won't be uploading as regularly, like, by the time I get into the top 3 divisions, is basically what I want to get into. So, as you see there, I actually don't think I show you going to the next division at all, but I'm sure I'll probably do that. I'll show you at the start of the next episode. And I went out just a little small ball opening at the end of this episode, as we basically went to try and get some new players. Of course, with that new UEFA thing, I had the opportunity of 10,000 GP to try and get another good player. Unfortunately, in this one, I was so close to a black ball, didn't get it, and I ended up getting a bronze ball. And with the bronze ball, I get Hector Rodas of Real Betis, who I've never heard of before. And then in this one particular one, I try and get another player. Again, I actually come really close to getting a good player in this one as well. But unfortunately for me, it goes just wide once again, which is just ridiculous. As we see here, I always click quite early, and I was in between 2 gold balls of another bronze ball, this time getting another player who's rated 68 in Kota, from Fujimito Kota. But as we see here, I go and pay 10,000 GP to try and get one of the good players from the last 16 team of the Champions League. So many black balls, so many opportunities to get a good player, but for some ridiculous reason the game completely trolls me. It gives me a golden ball, and I end up getting the beast, which is Streller for FC Basel. Great. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.